cutie pies. I am Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the day. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Tuesday, November the 21st, 2023. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this one a solid 7. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 7. I enjoyed this episode. Y'all tell me what you think. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. We see Chanel and Johnny. So Chanel and Johnny, she's just made it back in. She was gone to visit Lonnie and take care of some things, and so she's come back and she says, how was the wedding? And Johnny hasn't had time to talk to her, so he tells her the wedding went off smoothly, but then he said his mom and dad had some tragic news after that happened last night, and so he proceeds to tell her, about the baby, and of course Chanel is devastated for Nicole, and so she's talking to him, right? Pause right there, because then we go over to the hospital and we see Nicole and EJ, and he's vowing to get revenge, and she said, what does it matter, the baby, because they can't find Dimitri, and he's like, we're gonna find him, and she tells him, what does it matter, the baby is gone. That won't bring the baby back. But Holly ends up coming in and she has some food, pizza, Nicole's favorite pizza, and she's trying to get her to eat, and Nicole ends up snapping at Holly because she's just devastated at this point. And EJ just tells Holly, you know, thank you so much for bringing the pizza, but right now, just let me, try to talk to your mom. So, because he feels bad for Holly, but Nicole isn't in the state of mind right now to be receptive to her. She's just hurting. She's hurting, and so she snaps at Holly, and Holly feels bad, because she was just trying to be helpful. But right now, Nicole is in that mind frame. So Holly ends up leaving, and she goes home, and she meets Johnny, right? And she tells him what happened at the hospital, and he says, because he had told her, she tells him what happened at the hospital, and he tells her, your mom has just been through a lot, Holly, and she loves you, and when she gets over this shock and the devastation of losing her child, she'll realize that she's, she has you, and she'll be better. She didn't mean to hurt your feelings. So Holly understands. And then she was like, Johnny, thank you for being so. I said, now, ma'am, you were talking about Tate and him coming on to you while your mom was missing, which Tate was wrong. But you're doing the exact same thing with Johnny right now, because it was flirty. Like it was flirting. It was a flirtatious. And so then Chanel comes in and she sees this because Johnny's giving Holly a hug and everything. And she's like, but she tells Holly, I'm sorry about everything that's going on with your mom. We were actually going to bring some lasagna, just for something for them to eat. And Johnny tells Chanel, he don't think that's a good idea because, Holly already told him about her mom snapping at her about the pizza. So he was like, oh, okay. So then Holly goes upstairs, just to rest, get her mind off things. And Chanel tells Johnny, and he was like, yeah, I feel bad for poor Holly. And she said, Holly gonna be all right, because when I came in, she was flirting with you. And I said, so Chanel did see it. Because lately, it seems like her radar has been off on it. Because Holly's been flirting the whole time and making little jabbing remarks at Chanel. But Chanel tells Johnny that Holly is into you, and he says, no, actually she was into my dad. And Chanel said, what? He's old enough to be her dad. I said, weren't you with your professor and he was old enough to be your dad? I'm just saying. Let's move on. So anyways, she just tells him, I think it was you, Johnny, and not your dad. And he was like, no. I see her as my stepsister, my little kid stepsister. She said, but she don't see you that way. But we'll see, Johnny. Okay. So then moving on from that, we see that we go back to the hospital, because that's it with Chanel, Holly, and Johnny. We go back to the hospital and we see that EJ leaves the room because Nicole tells him she just needs some space. She needs some time alone. So when he leaves the room, Chad is there. Chad is there to be to comfort EJ. And he's like, why didn't you tell me last night? And EJ was like, he was just in shock. It was a lot going on. And so they just start talking about the devastation and the loss of, children, wives, just people important to you. And EJ said he can't, he's not grieving yet because it's just crazy to him that his son was in the world, yet he never got to meet him, because he wasn't there for the birth. So maybe he could have saw him those few moments where Dimitri was taken up to the hospital. He could have got to see him, but he never got to meet him. So his son was alive, and that's just boggling to him, and he's just devastated. EJ is going through a lot as well, and he tells Chad that Nicole's going through it. She snapped at Holly. She's just emotional right now, and he wants to be there to comfort her, but she's pushing him away. And Chad, of course, gives him the advice. She won't always. So you just have to be there for when she does need you. And he's, because EJ is like, I want to be there for her. I don't want her to push me away and, deal with this on her own. But anyways, it was a nice scene between Chad and EJ. I like when they're actually brothers. Over the whole Stefan and EJ thing, that gets tiring. Just the two of them going at it all the time. I like when they're actually like Chad and EJ's relationship where they can just be brothers. So, anyways, we then see that Chad ends up leaving and EJ goes into the room and Nicole is there with Eric. Now, Eric had been with Sloan earlier at his place and they were getting everything ready for the baby. He's went out and bought every type of diaper. So they're getting all of this ready. He's super excited. And then he tells her he would like to go see Nicole. Do you mind? And she said, yeah. Yes, she does mind. But then she said, but that would be selfish of me. So I know Nicole has suffered a huge loss. So yes, go and give her the comfort that she needs. So he leaves, and that's why he's at Nicole's place, because he just wanted to check on her and see that she was okay. Y'all might hear Miss Rachel in the back. Mila's awake, and we're just chilling in the bed until we get moving around. So sorry about that. But so she's in excuse me. So he goes to see Nicole, and when he does, Nicole, she's turned away from the door, and so she hears Eric's voice, and he was like, "I just came to check on you. I'm sorry for your loss," but he was like, she doesn't turn around, so he was like, "I can come back, another time," because he knows this is a sensitive time. And she says, "Eric." And so he stays and he sits down and she tells him that him being a man of God, she needs answers. Like, why did this happen? And Eric just tells her there are no answers sometimes. You just have to trust God's will and um, have faith that He knows what's best. And so, of course, Nicole, she broke down and cried about that because she needs something. She needs something to understand why, she was like, I carried this baby. I did everything I was supposed to do. I held my baby. My baby was alive. And then for the baby to be taken from me like this, I'm devastated. Um, and so she's sad about it. What what are they gonna do for the baby's body? Right? Because you would think that Nicole would want to see the baby, and if she saw the baby, I mean, I know she had just given birth, but I don't know, child. Well, let's move on. So, anyways, Eric gives her a hug and he's comforting her, and that's when EJ comes in, and Eric is like, and he's telling him, no, you don't have to explain. I'm glad you were here to comfort her, and and he gives EJ his condolences. And that was it with Eric. He leaves, and then Nicole was trying to explain, and he said, there's no need to explain. I just want you to know that I'm here for you also, so you can lean on me as well. And so she does. She gives him a hug and everything because she is devastated about losing her child. And EJ went through that with her. So that's pretty much it with them guys. So then we go over here to Melinda. Melinda's taking care of this baby, and she said, "Whoo," because Sloan comes over, right? Um, and actually, Sloan was on the phone with Melinda earlier when Eric had came in on her. This was before he told her he wanted to go see Nicole. and he heard her saying that a woman is devastated and it's her fault. And so she told him, "Oh, it's the birth mom, and she's having a hard time." And he was like, "Does she want the baby back?" And she told him, "No, no, 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 no. And I just feel like it's my fault because I'm getting a baby, the happiness, and but she knows this is best for her baby, but she's devastated about losing her child." So she played that off. So then she goes over to Melinda's and she's like, "Is everything okay?" And Melinda's like, "Yes, Sloan." The baby cries because that's what babies do at this age. That's their job. And she was like, "Okay." And then Fox. And then she tells and then she tells Melinda that she feels devastated about Nicole and Eric went to visit her. She said, "Does it bother you that Eric visited her?" And she says, "Yes, but not because I'm jealous. It bothers me because I'm the reason for Nicole's heartbreak." And so it bothers Sloan that it does bother Sloan that she's devastating Nicole, but then she has her and she's keeping her baby. And Melinda is just like, "You got to suck that up." And I said, Sloan kind of wants to do the right thing, but Melinda is in her ear and just like, "No, this baby belongs to you and Eric. Y'all are going to be great parents." And Nicole has a daughter. Melinda did come out as heartless. She said, "I don't mean to be heartless." I said, "Well, girl, what else do you mean to be?" It sounded real heartless. And so she was like, "But Nicole has a baby. She'll be all right. She'll be okay." And so she like, "Suck it up, Buttercup. You got this child, and you're gonna take care of this child, and everything is going well with the baby." And so Nicole Sloan is asking, how did Nicole take it, the news, and she says, Melinda tells her, "I didn't ask the guy, the insurance guy who delivered it, the doctor." She said, "I didn't ask him how Nicole took the news. I just let it, because she didn't want to know either that Nicole was devastated." She said, "But I'm sure she's devastated, but she'll be okay." So then Sloan holds the baby and everything, and she's bonding with the baby. She was like, "Look how he's looking at me," and like on one hand she feels very guilty about what she's done, but on another hand, she already is falling in love with this baby. The child is gonna be a whole mess. So then Melina was like, "Just you gotta suck this up. Take your guilt and put it somewhere else. You got everything that you wanted. You got the man, you got the baby, you got your family that you've always wanted." And Nicole just tells, excuse me, Sloan just tells Melinda, "You've been a really good friend to me." And Melinda said, "Well, you're my only friend." And Sloan says, "You're my only friend too." I said, "Y'all don't need to be friends. If this what y'all do when y'all get together, don't be friends." So anyway, Sloan ends up going home and she's looking at how to put together a crib, and Eric comes in and he's like, "Oh, you already started without me." And she was like, "I'm just going over things." And he tells her that he visited with Nicole, and Nicole is just devastated. And she says, "Eric, there's something I have to tell you." I said, Sloan, and Melinda is like talking to the baby because she's by herself with the baby now. And she says, "You're going to be in a happy, healthy home, little guy, as long as your mommy doesn't let her guilty conscience get in the way." I said, "Too late." Y'all, that was it. That was all for Days of Our Lives. I know it was a long episode. It was one of their longest episodes they've had in weeks. It was like 42 minutes. But it was a solid episode. Wait a minute, y'all. I'm talking about that's the end. I forgot all about Ava and Harris. Okay, so Ava and Harris, sorry about that, y'all. So y'all remember Gil went to the over to Ava's and we heard the gunshot ring out. Well, of course we know that Ava did shoot Gil. And when she shoots him, she Harris burst in, of course, and she was like, "He's dead." He was like, "Yes, child, he is dead." And so he tells her like what happened. Why was he here? And she said he wanted something from me. And then Ava flashes back to Gil wanting her to get the evidence key from Harris. And she wouldn't do it. And then Gil got all handsy with her and he was trying to grape her and everything. And so Harris says, "I see your blouse is ripped." And she said, "Yeah, he came over talking about work, and then he started coming on to me." And she was like, "He was just so disgusting, and he wouldn't let me go." And she said, "So I got his gun, and um, he was like, 'Why do you have a gun?' I don't know." She said, "But I got his gun, and I try to tell him to stay away, but he wouldn't, and I shot him. And he said, okay, we're going to have to go to the police station. And of course, Ava, I said, girl, for a mafia princess, your nerves are bad. She's freaking out and everything. So they get her down to the station. She's in the interrogation room. And she was like, EJ is going to come for me. And like, look what he did to Gabby. He likes me less than he likes Gabby. So he's going to come for me, and he's going to try to throw the book at me. And he's like, the forensic team is coming through your house right now. Somebody said in the comments, Wendy and Trip need to move. This is the second body. I say, yes, that apartment is no good. But anyways, he said this is he tells her the forensic team is there, and they're going through, and they're going to find the evidence they need. And he said, and I also looked into Gil's background. And he did tell Ava, I knew I should have went with my first instincts. And she said, what do you mean? He said, I never trusted Gil. I knew there was something bad about him. And she said, you don't know the half of it. And so, anyways, he tells her that he was looking in Gil's background, and he says drugs were in it. So so they could use that. And she said, drugs compared to my background, I'm probably gonna go to prison. He said, no, you won't, Ava. We know, because Gil came over to your place, girl, with a gun, and you clearly see her. Her blouse was ripped and all that kind of stuff. So the evidence is gonna be there that Gil was doing what he was trying to do. And so he just tells her, you got to trust me, and we're going to get to the bottom of this, and you're going to get off. And we know she's going to get off because we know there's something else in the works. I'm not going to give y'all this, even though y'all probably seen it, I'm not going to tell you. Anyway, I'm not going to say it on here because some people don't like to watch any of the spoilers, even if the soap puts it out what's about to happen. So moving right along. Harris leaves out because the forensic team calls him. So he's like, I need to take this. And when he leaves, Ava gets a phone call on her phone. I say, she got to keep her phone? Okay. And it's from Statesville. So Clyde is calling because she went and shot his man. And that is the end of Days of Our Lives today, you guys. End of Days of Our Lives today, guys. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Be safe. Be blessed, and I will see you tomorrow for an all new episode. Y'all tell me what you guys are doing for Thanksgiving as well. Do you have plans? People are coming to my house to I'm not cooking though. Like I told y'all, this holiday season, I'm not cooking a thing. So my sister and my mom are coming over, and my sister is gonna cook. We're not doing anything much. Like we're not doing the traditional Thanksgiving. We're just doing like chicken spaghetti, and then I think we might. The only thing I might do is I like lemon pepper, and garlic snow crab legs, so I might do that, shrimp and a lobster tail. But besides that, I'm not doing anything. We're just chilling out, and that's it. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.